Hey Matt, with the shredded beef cooking, we want something to add some flavor to it, so I've been making my own barbecue sauce lately. We've been eating quite a bit of barbecue down here in the south, so found out, you know what, it's not that tough to make. The ingredients list is kind of long because I've kind of spiced it up, so instead of just telling you, I'll show you, so you can pause the film and write that down as you need be, and I'll be going through it as I cook everything. But really, finding out that barbecue sauce is easy to make, it's a heck of a lot better than the bottled stuff, and it's actually cheaper. Just a little bit more time involved. But again, that's not too bad to do. So here's how to make barbecue sauce. Alright, you're going to take a pan, you're going to put everything in here, mix it up, and heat it for a bit to warm everything through. Some of the recipes I've seen call for just mixing everything up and you're good to go. But I like the flavor that comes out. It blends, I think, better if you heat it up. So we start with, we're going to start with the ketchup. I, of course, being cheap, frugal, have been using generic ketchup. Tried using pureed tomatoes. It's not quite the right consistency. Ketchup is just the perfect consistency. It's got some of the spices already in it, so ketchup. I'm just going to dump that in there. Okay. Vinegar, I like to do about half white vinegar and then half apple cider vinegar. Doesn't look all that appealing, but it just adds a little bit to it all. You can use all white vinegar if you want. The brown sugar, you got to have that. It adds the. You can't use regular sugar. You really need brown sugar to add the. Really need brown sugar to add that richness to it, I guess. Mustard. A tablespoon of that. I like the heavier. I got Dijon. I actually like the heavier, spicier mustard. That's me. And molasses. This is one of those tricky things you don't pick up all that much, don't have laying around the house. But again, the molasses not only provides some sweetness and some fullness to the flavor, but it also thickens it quite a bit. So we're going to add that in there. A teaspoon of salt, and of course we're using the kosher. Looks about good. Okay. And then I've been experimenting with the spices quite a bit. So we've got half teaspoon of crushed red. That's about good. Worcestershire, this stuff. Again, this adds just the right kick. Got a tablespoon of that. There's quite a bit in here. It actually contrasts with the molasses very nicely. Okay, so I got the hot sauce. You can use Tabasco. I picked up some this Texas Pete stuff down here. I've been finding out that it's pretty good. And this recipe is actually, it's got enough kick to it to make it really interesting, but it doesn't burn your mouth when you're eating it. Cayenne red pepper. Need a teaspoon of that. I don't know about up there, but down here, spices have just like skyrocketed in price. They used to have little packets like this for 99 cents. I think I paid $2 for this, so keep an eye out for sales or generics or something like that. Okay, 1/8 cup minced green pepper. It's about 1/8 of a cup. I mince it real fine because I put this in a bottle. You can chunk it bigger if you want, and keep it in a bowl or something like that. But I actually will be putting this into a shaker, and we'll be mixing this up. And then lastly, a little trick Mom just taught me is for jalapenos. You take a jalapeno. This has actually been sitting in my freezer for a while. Take your grater and you just grate it. jalapenos actually have some heat to them. They also have a sweetness to them. So it's a great little pepper to use. And now I'm going to throw this back in the freezer. We'll have some leftovers. So we've got everything in our pan, and I've got it on low heat right here, and I'm just going to stir, mix it. So just to kind of blend it a little bit, I'm going to let it sit and heat up. Just make sure it doesn't boil. If it boils, you'll start caramelizing everything, and it won't be the worst of it. You know, it won't ruin it, but it has potential to. So if it boils too long, yes, then it definitely will. But just a low heat, keep it on there for, I don't know, whatever you feel comfortable with. You know, 15, 20 minutes, an hour. I don't keep it too long on an electric stove because this heats up too quickly, so I'm just going to get this warm enough to heat through and blend everything together, and then we're going to package it up. Okay, not sure how well it's showing up on the video, but there's just a wisp of steam and everything coming up off of the sauce, which means it's about ready to boil, which means I don't want it to go any further, so I'm shutting it down. It doesn't get that thick. It's not a commercial sauce that uses thickeners, so it's going to be watery like this. It'll thicken a bit more as it stands and cools down, but this is about it for this type of sauce. There's other things you can do to thicken it up. You can actually use butter as a thickener. I'm going to be playing around with that, so I'll let you know how that goes, but that's it. I'm going to throw it into this bottle now. I found this at Bed Bath & Beyond, but I'm kind of kicking myself. $1.99 for this stupid little bottle. I could have just saved an old barbecue sauce bottle from old sauce and just reused it. So, but that's what I've got. It has to be refrigerated after you're done with it. This is not put on the shelf, so you got to put this in the refrigerator. So that is making barbecue sauce. And it's got some good kick to it. So enjoy.